Morning, boys and girls. How are you? I hope this finds you well and enjoying your first few days of virtual schooling. Welcome back. It's been a busy time here at school, but I wanted to take a few minutes to share a great story, one of my favorite stories with you all. It was given to me by my aunt years ago as I became a principal, and it's a really special story to me. So I want to share it with you this morning. And it is called A Fine, Fine School by one of my favorite authors, Miss Sharon Creech. All right, let's check it out. Everybody ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Mr. Keene was a principal who loved his school. Every morning, he strolled down the hallway and saw the children in their classes. He saw them learning shapes and colors and numbers and letters. He saw them reading and writing and drawing and painting. He saw them making dinosaurs and forts and pyramids. "Oh," he would say, "aren't these fine children? Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school?" It looks like a fine school, huh? Look at this, there's a dinosaur in there. Near Mr. Keene's school, Tilly lived with her parents and her brother and her dog Beans in a small house next to a big tree. How many of you out there have a dog or a cat or any other pet? Huh? What are their names? On Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. At school, Tilly learned her shapes and colors and numbers and letters. Sometimes, when she saw Mr. Keene standing in the hallway, he waved. "Aren't these fine children?" he said. "Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school?" On the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, Tilly climbed her favorite tree. See? It says, "I'm stuck, get help." And she took Beans on walks and threw him sticks. "Let go now, Beans." And she pushed her brother on a swing and tried to teach him how to skip. "Be one with the skip." Looks like Beans is trying to help out too. But on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. Beans and her brother did not like to see her go. "Hurry, hurry, hurry home," her brother called. Look what Mr. Beans is doing. What's he doing? He's having a cup of coffee. Can you see that? Do any of your dogs drink coffee? My dog doesn't drink coffee. Mr. Beans, he sounds like a special dog. One day, Mr. Keene called all the students and teachers together and said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Saturdays too." The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene. He was so proud of the children and of the teachers, all of the learning they were doing every day. And so, on Saturday, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Saturday. What about the swings?" her brother called. The following month, Mr. Keene announced, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Sundays too." Ooh. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Sundays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers, of all the learning they were doing every day. I don't know, these guys don't look too happy. Can you see that? They're not very happy. Mr. Keene looks happy. And so, that Sunday, Tilly set out for school. "But it's Sunday. What about the skipping?" her brother called. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together and said, uh-oh, what's he going to say now? This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on holidays too. On Easter, on Ramadan, and Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and Hanukkah, on all the holidays, on every calendar. Oh no. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on holidays. But no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers of all the learning they were doing every day. Oh my goodness. Look at the kids. Can you see the kids? They don't look too happy. Mr. Keene looks happy, but the students, they don't look too happy. Look at their faces. Let's see what happens. And so on Christmas, Tilly set off for school. But it's Christmas. What about Christmas, her brother called. No, look at Mr. Beans. He's got his gift for Tilly. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together and said, this is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. Oh no. From now on, let's have school in the summer too. All summer long, every single day. I don't know. How many of you would like that? Look at Mr. He's got a button. I don't know if you can see it. It says, summer school is cool. All right. Let's see what happens. How much we will learn, he said. We can learn everything. We will learn all about numbers and letters, colors and shapes. The Romans and the Egyptians and the Greeks. We will learn about dinosaurs and castles and everything. We will learn everything. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays and all summer, every single day. But no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers of all the learning they were doing every day. Look at some of the students. Oh my goodness. Look at her. They just don't look too happy. And so, on the first day of summer, Tilly set off for school. But it's summer. What about summer, her brother called. Can you see what Mr. Beans is doing? He's like the lifeguard. He's got a little lifeguard shirt on. My dog doesn't do that. And that day, Tilly went to see Mr. Keene. She stood in his office in front of his desk. What a fine, fine school this is, Mr. Keene said. What amazing things everyone is learning. Yes, Tilly said. We certainly are learning some amazing things. A fine, fine school, Mr. Keene said. But, Tilly said, not everyone is learning. Wow. What? Mr. Keene said. He looked very worried. Who isn't learning? Tell me, and I will see that they learn. My dog Beans hasn't learned how to sit, Tilly said, and he hasn't learned how to jump over the creek. Oh, Mr. Keene said. And my little brother hasn't learned how to swim, or swing, or skip. Oh, Mr. Keene said. And you can see that Beans is trying to push her little brother, and he's saying, wrong way, Beans. And I, she said. But you go to school, Mr. Keene said, to our fine, fine school. True, Tilly said, but I haven't learned how to climb very high in my tree, and I haven't learned how to sit in my tree for a whole hour. Oh, Mr. Keene said. That day, Mr. Keene walked up and down the halls, looking at the children and the teachers. Up and down he walked, up and down, up and down. Look, this poor guy's brushing his teeth there because he's always there. He lives at the school, basically. Do these look like happy kids? I don't think so. The next morning, Mr. Keene called everyone together. The children and the teachers were very worried. What do you think he's going to say? Mr. Keene said, "This is a fine, fine school, with fine, fine children, and fine, fine teachers. But not everyone is learning." The children and the teachers were very, very, very worried. Mr. Keene said, "There are dogs who need to learn how to sit and how to jump creeks." What did he mean? Was he going to make their dogs go to school? You can see Mr. Beans writing on the board. He's dressed like a kid. There are little brothers and sisters who need to learn how to swing and how to skip. What do you mean? Was he going to make their younger brothers and sisters come to school too? The children and the teachers were very, very, very worried. Let's see what happens. "And all of you children and teachers, you need to learn how to climb a tree and sit in it for an hour," Mr. Keene said. The children and the teachers were very, very worried. Look, they have Mr. Keene down here, and he's teaching them. He's asking them. They're saying, "You have 20 minutes to go. Stay in the tree." And so, from now on, we will. All the students look really worried. The teachers look worried too. Not have school on Saturdays and Sundays or holidays and in the summer. A huge, enormous, roaring cheer soared up from the ceiling and floated out the windows so that everyone in the town heard the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers shout, "Fine, fine, fine." Look, they're all so happy. Look at all the teachers back here, all the students. They're so happy. And then the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers lifted Mr. Keene up, and they carried him down the hallway and out the doors and through the town, up and down, in and out. And everywhere they went, the people said, "What a fine, fine school, with such fine, fine teachers and fine children and a fine, fine principal." You can see they're all so happy and they're celebrating. And that is the story, A Fine, Fine School by Sharon Creech. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, it's one of my favorites, and it was given to me by an aunt when I became the principal. So, I hope you have a great day, and keep enjoying learning, and we'll see you soon.